Victoria Tunnel, probably the most famous tunnel in Wellington, just up the road from the equally famous Basin Reserve cricket grounds. And the reason why this tunnel is so well known isn't obvious right now, but hopefully in a minute it will be. There we go. This tunnel was built for reasons that have probably just become obvious. This is known as the Tooting Tunnel because it's very, very popular for motorists to beat their horns while going through the tunnel. And there's actually a story as to how that came about. I've come back outside and down the road a bit because it's a little bit too noisy in there for telling stories. But what happened is when the tunnel was being built in the 1930s, because it opened in 1931, there was a rather gruesome murder that took place during the construction phase. A 17-year-old woman named Phyllis Simmons, who was pregnant at the time, was murdered and buried alive in the tunnel foundations where they were digging it out. It is believed that she was murdered by her then boyfriend, Gordon Coates, who was a worker working on the tunnel. It is believed that he hit her over the head with a piece of pipe and then buried her, and that she would have died from suffocation after she'd been buried. Now, Coates proclaimed that he was innocent. He said that she'd committed suicide and that he'd just buried her to avoid taking the blame. But nevertheless, he was found guilty by the Supreme Court and he was sentenced to death, and he was hanged in 1932. So what has this incident got to do with people beeping in the tunnel? Well, some say it's a bit of a ghost story. Some say that by beeping in the tunnel, you're scaring off Phyllis Simmons' ghost, so she won't come and haunt you. I can't really believe this story. I mean, whether you believe in ghosts or not is up to you, but there's never actually been any kind of paranormal activity or anything found in the tunnel, so it's highly unlikely that's the case. More likely, people beeped out of a sign of respect to poor Miss Simmons, if that. But this happened in 1931. You know, we're talking something that happened 80 years ago, in fact more than that. I think really, in 2018, it's just the case that people who've always beeped in the tunnel, you know, people's parents did it and then their parents did it, everyone's just always beeped in the Mount Victoria Tunnel, and people will probably continue to. It doesn't hurt anyone, it's just a little bit of fun as you go through the tunnel. For people who commute through this tunnel every day, and believe me, the traffic around here can be horrendous, it can be a little bit of fun to bright up your journey home, or your journey in the morning. So that's pretty much it. These days, nobody really knows why we beep in the tunnel. It's just a bit of fun, and it's kind of just, everyone's always done it. That's just the way it's always been. The story of Phyllis Simmons is known by next to nobody these days, so I think really we've just always done it, and we probably always will, even if we're not too sure why. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys in the next video. It is bloody difficult to film next to roads in this country because New Zealanders seem to think it's funny to shout things out of car windows at people vlogging. It's really, really annoying.